Thank you. Is this the table?
This is the table.
This is the table everyone's been talking about.
They warned you about it.
It's all the cameras.
Be careful
That's why
with the table.
it does have a light.
It's quite a light. That's called a face saver.
Yeah, it's the beauty lights. And
We have those every once in a while. It's deployed on a camera on Supernatural, and we call it the face saver. And when they put that on around the lens, we know that we look particularly awful that day. It's like, wow, you look awful. Here, let's stick that on there.
This is because everybody looks like they have jaundice in this room.
And
it's
great.
true.
Good to know. Any questions?
Yes.
I'll go.
Go ahead. Go first.
So we've been talking about the fact that these characters, within not just this genre but around, they show a side of masculinity that's emotional and not normally seen. Like that's a rarity in television and film, where you see these manly men, right? But they have hearts and souls. And sometimes. So can you talk about showcasing that and being a part of that, especially with cast?
It's an interesting show, especially at this moment. By the way, I don't think this show would have gotten on the air today, because at this moment, having like a show with only men as series regulars is anathema to our thinking about how representation should be conducted in television, and it's rightly so. But it is an interesting opportunity for us to explore masculinity from a different perspective than it is looked at in television. And I think it's a really fascinating laboratory to be able to play around with. And it might not happen again. I mean, I really don't know when there's going to be a major television show that is with all these manly men.
Manly men.
You know what's amazing is that I did the same thing to Jensen when I walked by him with that, like, just we're synced up. We get it.
As you said.
So anyway, but I think this show discovered that about itself early on. I probably am speaking out of school, but I don't care, because what are they going to do? Fire me?
It's all out today.
There was a mandate from the network in season 3 to add 2 female series regulars to the show. And those characters, while they were portrayed by excellent actresses who have gone on to great careers, the characters didn't feel like they fit. It was like, well, this isn't actually what the show is really about. It's about brotherhood in both the literal and broader sense of the term. And that's why my character worked, and that's why even Mark Shepard's character worked, and why Alex's character worked. There are these characters that come in that are also a part of this fraternity, and we get to explore brotherhood without it being about, I don't know, typically I think in a show like that you would expect to have like a lot of romantic foil female characters or something that like it's about those relationships between men and women, and this is really primarily, and I think the show was trying to find its footing in the beginning, trying to figure out like how do we integrate that aspect, because that's a part of a television show that we need to have, because that's what always happens. And in the end, I think we ended up just doing a show that's really about fraternity, about brotherhood, and that's kind of interesting. And I think that I don't know. I mean, I have opinions about it. They're not very well informed, but they're opinions, and I think it's interesting, and I like that the show has allowed itself, and the network and the studio, amazing studio, have allowed the show to kind of break the mold and just do that instead of trying to conform to how television normally deals with gender exploration. So yeah. Anyway,
Why it's on 15 seasons, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. There's a million factors that go into the longevity of Supernatural, but the fact that we were exploring those themes that aren't explored elsewhere probably helped. Also, before Holly breaks my arm, our cookbook went on sale for pre-sale this weekend. So if anybody wants to plug that, that would be helpful because if we do well in pre-sales, then it gets onto like bestseller lists and stuff like that. It's called The Adventurous Eaters Club, and it's actually about feeding children well and changing the paradigm of North American children's cuisine, but also about coalescing families around cooking. So it's not a force for evil. And thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you.